Well, hello everybody. It's always good to know when you're the last thing before the break, right? It's like, yeah. So, as he said, my name is Amy Anderson. I'm currently the Associate Provost at West Texas A&M University. We are a small regional school within the A&M system. We are not Aggies, just so you know. We are Buffaloes. So, our school has been there for since 1910, so a while. And we started out as a teacher's college, as a normal school, and we've had like 5 different iterations of our name and joined the A&M system in the early 90s and became West Texas A&M. I have been at the university for 28, almost 29 years now. I started out as a faculty member in the Department of Education. And then I became the inaugural director of our Teaching Excellence Center, and then department head for education, and then my current job as associate provost. I like to tell people I'm the senior associate provost, but we only have one, so I can call myself whatever I want, right? People ask me what my job is. I said, whatever the provost does not want to do, that's what I do, right? Which is not entirely true. Not entirely true. So as I was watching all the presentations the last couple of days, I was like, I didn't make a slide about our university like everybody else has done. I'm gonna beg some forgiveness on that. It's because we had our accreditation visit the week before this presentation was due. It's our 10-year on-site visit from SACSCOC. I was a little busy with other things, so I had a week in between to make the PowerPoint, so that kind of stuff did not make it on the PowerPoint. Thank you for nodding, because you know. So, yeah. So we were, as I said, we're established in 1910. I did write some facts down so I wouldn't forget them. We have about 9,200, right around there, students. Most are undergraduate. Almost 7,000 of those are undergraduate, the rest graduate. We have 66 undergraduate degrees, including, we just added, 2 years ago, we added some embedded associate degrees. So if students start at WT, and they get to the number of hours for their associate degree, we can award it to them in case they need to stop out. So that's new. We had to do a SACS level change for that. It was hideous. And we have 46 graduate degrees. Most of them are masters, but we have 2 doctoral degrees, a PhD in agriculture and an EDD, obviously in education, but it's in leadership in education. So, let's talk about accreditation, because we all have to do it at some point if we want to have federal funding. So I'm going to ask you what accrediting bodies you use. How many might be SACSCOC? Yeah. Higher Learning Commission? Yeah. I don't know what any of the other ones are anymore. Okay. Middle States. Okay, so y'all are yelling. Yeah. So part of accreditation always has to do with faculty credentialing. Am I right? They all use it, right? You all have to show that your faculty are qualified to do what they do. For some reason, they won't just take our word for it. I don't know why. So for SACSCOC, let me show you the most commonly cited standards for offsite reviews in SACSCOC. For SACSCOC, every 10 years, you have a large decennial review. And so you turn in a report in September, you have an offsite review in November, and then they come, in our track anyway, and then they come visit you in March. For other tracks, it happens the opposite. You turn things in the spring, and they come visit you in the fall. These are the standards that are most commonly cited. 30% are non-compliance for assessment of general education. I don't know why the 33 got cut off, but 33 for program coordination, you got to have somebody qualified to coordinate each program. And I'm not sure what that number is, 33, it looks like 33 for board self-evaluation. For some reason, board of trustees things, you know, board members don't like to do things apparently. And so we have trouble with that. So those three are commonly cited. Here's a couple more. 45% do not have qualified officers, or they haven't shown the credentialing for their administrators or financial documents. Those are both at 45%. So 46% are found in non-compliance for student learning outcomes. Do you have clear outcomes and evidence? So not just the core or gen ed classes, but outcomes in general for programs. 59% don't show sufficiency that they have enough program faculty to support the programs that they have. Okay. So the most frequently cited standard for SACSCOC is, I bet you've guessed it, it's faculty qualifications and credentialing. 91% of institutions are found in non-compliance on the off-site report. 91%. But when you think about it, like we have about 400 faculty that we have to credential. I mean, that's a lot of data that you have to look at and things that you have to show. Yes, they are qualified by these means, whatever it is. So, it's one of the most frequent ones. So maintaining a complete roster is definitely something that you have to do. We had, well, I thought it was on there, but it may be on a later slide. Obviously my slides got messed up. So guess how many faculty citations we had. So what they do is they red flag you. They say, oh, you got this faculty member in biology we don't think you've proven that they're qualified. So when we come on site, you have to show us more proof that this person is qualified. So the last time we did the decennial, we had like 12 of those. And all but 2 of them, they were like, okay, when they looked at their transcripts when they came, that sort of thing. This year, this time around, I'm so proud, we had 0. 0, thank you, thank you. I tell everybody, I tell them twice. We had 0. I worked on it really hard. I really started working on it more than a year before the thing was due. So, all right, this just gives you an idea of the timeline that I was talking about earlier. We're writing our compliance report for a couple of years. We turned it in September. The offsite committee met in November. In December, we got our review. We fixed things, and then they came to visit in March. So that just gives you a little background on that. So, oh, here's my slide with the big 0 on it. Sorry, I turned this in, like I said, a month ago, and I looked at it twice, at least since then, but I forgot where the 0 was. So there's the big 0 that we had. You don't have to clap again. Thank you though. Thank you. So, oh, I don't remember doing that, but whatever. All right. So you have to for SACSCOC, you have to turn in a faculty roster. And what this does is documents their teaching qualifications for the courses that they are teaching in the snapshot year or snapshot 2 semesters that they're looking at. They let you do a snapshot. Ours was fall of 24, spring of 25. Okay, that was our snapshot. We have to demonstrate alignment between the courses that they're teaching and their credentialing, what they're credentialed to teach, provide evidence for the accreditors to review, ensure that everybody meets the guidelines, and that reduces the risk of findings. So basically for SACSCOC, you got to have a degree in what you're teaching. I know, it's weird. A graduate degree in what you're teaching to be able to teach. You can, like we had them question a couple of years ago, one of our engineering professors teaching a college algebra, a low-level college algebra class, because they're like, that person does not have a degree in math. What are you doing? He's an engineer. He probably has more math than the math professors had, and much more advanced. But we worked on that and figured it out. But it's those kind of things that you have to watch for. And you can add in other ways that you have credentialed them. We have, for example, we do have a bachelor's degree prepared person who teaches meteorology for us, okay? He is the local weatherman. He's done that job for 30 years. We can credential him because he has other things that he's done that help do that. So he's proven that he can forecast the weather as good as anybody, right? Which is not all that great sometimes. I don't know about your weatherman, but ours are wrong a lot. A lot. All right. So Interfolio has a faculty roster that's built specifically for SACSCOC. If you didn't know it, it's in there. It's in that report section, I believe. It's a centralized repository for faculty credentials. Everybody puts their stuff in FAR, in the activity reporting. They have to fill out their profile that has all their degrees in it. We have it integrated with our student information system. FAR is integrated so that their courses are automatically pulled into their FAR. And so we were able to use all of that to help us really figure out quickly how to do this and how to streamline our prep. Okay. This looked bigger when I was doing it on my computer. So I don't know if I can't even read that, if you can read that or not. So basically it's just those things that I was talking about. We collect their profile that has all their degrees on it. We look at what they're teaching. Any other thing that we need to do to help credential them. We know, for example, if it is a GA who's teaching, right? We have to do other things to credential them. Like we have a statement that they are most of them are under the direct supervision of a fully qualified faculty member in order to teach the class. So we do those kinds of things. We put that in the roster, we put it in the chart. So these were the steps that I took. The first thing I did is look at our faculty roster from the last reaffirmation, because we have lots of faculty who are like me, they stick around for a long time. If they were on it last time and they were qualified and they're still basically teaching the same kinds of courses, we don't have to list them again. We just have to make a list. Hey, this person taught math 10 years ago. They're still teaching the same math level courses. We don't have to re-credential them. So that was great. So that's called the faculty from prior review form. We sent messages, more than one, to faculty and administrators about updating their CV and all their activities in FAR to make sure that everything was collected in there. And really it's their highest degree, right? Their terminal degree or highest degree that is what's important for SACS. So then we pulled the faculty roster report in Interfolio, and we sent the message again because we found some that weren't done yet, right? Please fill out, make sure your CV is up to date, make sure your highest degree is on there, your terminal degree. So here's what we did. We created that faculty roster. We defined required document types and set those. That's part of what's in there. We set completion deadlines. We provided instructions to faculty about how to do this. It's not hard. Most of them already had their profile, but not all of them did. We assigned administrators to monitor the progress. Their department heads, basically, and their associate deans helped us to make sure that they were getting this done in a timely manner. Our faculty, surprisingly, are fairly good. I hate to say that. Don't tell them I said it. At doing things that we ask them to do. We are very centralized in how we operate because we're small. We have 6 colleges, but we're very centralized in how we operate. And they knew that this report was coming up and that they'd known about it for like the last 3 years. So we got pretty good feedback from them and pretty good participation, actually. So they did get a notification for an evaluation period, to initiate an input period, updated their CVs, entered their degree information. We try to get everyone to do this now that we have Interfolio right as they're hired. So brand new faculty coming in, we make sure that we sit with them. We have a monthly meeting with our brand new faculty. And we sit with them and we all fill it out together. And they put in their profile and their information, that sort of thing. And then that was submitted for administrative review, and then it came to me. The biggest problem that we have when it comes to things like this, especially for someone who's been teaching for a really long time, this is gonna sound weird to you guys, but they don't know what degree they have. Okay, they type in something that they do not have. For example, I have a degree in early childhood education. No, you don't. I looked at your transcript. You have a degree in education that's focused on early childhood. There are degrees in early childhood education, don't get me wrong, but this person just didn't happen to have one. I think over time, they try to simplify language when they're telling people what they do. And so they just simplify the name of their degree, and it's not what they actually have, but they get so used to talking about it that way, they just forget what they actually have. I'm like, go look at your diploma hanging on your wall. It's not what it says. It's not what it says. So that's the biggest problem that we have. So this is sort of a screenshot of what faculty roster looks like in Interfolio. It tells you kind of where it's on that AACSB is at the top, and then it's at the very, very bottom. I don't know if I have a pointer. Do I have a laser pointer? It's at the very, very bottom. It says faculty roster in Interfolio. All right. So here's a bigger picture. So then you can filter it down. So SACS, we typically do it by college and department. So the roster is it ends up being one big giant document that we turn in, but I filtered it by college and then by department so that it was easier. I know I've served on SACS review committees before, and they split up, the committee members who review it split up what college they look at. So like if it were me, I would want to review all the education faculty, right? Because that's my area. And so they typically do. They split it up. So I do it by college and department, so it's easier for them to split it up. So it allows you to choose those things inside of that form. Do y'all just hear music, or is it just me? Okay. You're hearing it too? Good. All right, so then it gives me a list, okay? And it tells me the person's name, what their degrees are, what college they're in, what department they're in, the school where they got their degree, because we have to list that on there. So that's all in there. As long as the faculty have input that information, it's all in there. Do we double check it? Why, yes. Yes, we do. Because anytime you have a human being that is putting things in, their own information, there's room for error. You know, faculty members like to think they're flawless, but we are not flawless. So we did double check lots of things, and I had some helpers that helped me do that, because it's tedious work. But how many flags? 0. That's right, 0. All right, so then we exported it, and you can export it in various forms. We did it in Excel because it was easier for my helpers to manipulate. We then removed all the prior faculty that we didn't have to review. We just deleted them out of there. And then we used that Excel report to double check all those qualifications and look for, we would flag them, we would highlight them if we have to give additional explanation because their degree might not match specifically with one of the courses they were teaching. So I had a roster for each college in an Excel document. We went through each of them. That's just sort of what it looks like once you put it in Excel. Okay. We verified their discipline and alignment. We confirmed graduate credit hours if needed. You can teach in a different discipline if you have 18 graduate hours in that discipline, and you can make that case for SACSCOC. So if I had a degree in, I don't know, in education, but I also have 18 hours of graduate art, I might be able to teach art, for example, a low-level art class. We requested additional documentation as necessary, and then we would mark it as verified. That was just kind of our process that we did. So we tried to generate those reports and then identify missing documents very quickly and exported that data for accreditation documentation. You can use the roster form that's in Interfolio to turn in to SACSCOC, but I chose to put it in the SACSCOC form. I just felt better about that, putting it in their own form. You don't have to, but you know, let's not poke that bear. So we also used accreditation software. We had Anthology, I forget what it's called, Anthology accreditation, basically. So we use that for turning our report in, okay, which is way better than the last time because, you know, you had a giant PDF document with bookmarks and little links to every single piece of evidence that you had. We did not do that this year, thankfully. So you can do it with a bulk upload. You can put all that information there with a bulk upload into Anthology. We chose not to because I have trust issues when things are out of my hands. So we just put it in there as a giant PDF, which worked just fine. We're small enough that we could do that, but not everybody is, and I understand that. So that made us accreditation ready. All the documentation for all instructors, full-time, part-time, everybody. Transparent credential verification. We had good reporting for our accreditation team. It reduced the administrative burden during the review because once we were done with that, we knew we were done with it and there was nothing else we could do. And then we didn't have to do it when they got there because it worked so well. Our target result was 0 faculty flagged, and that's exactly the outcome that we got, which was nice. Yes, I'm still celebrating. Complications are that, as I said earlier, participants, their faculty add their own data for that profile. So that's what we had to double check every time. Self-reported data can be problematic. Sometimes it's incorrect degree data, as I talked about before. We also had to look at these things as a follow-up, which I've kind of said it before, repeating myself apparently. We try to maintain updated CVs as well, but because we use RPT for our yearly evaluation, those should be updated every year anyway. So they usually are. We've had FAR, I didn't tell you this before, we've had FAR for we got it in 2021, I believe was our implementation year. So everybody's kind of used to it now. We still have improvements to make, of course, but this helped a great deal in prepping these documents. So we're going to try to keep going and have some best practices for ongoing compliance. So we update them regularly, like I just said. We require them to update their CV every year. If they don't do that, if they don't turn in their annual evaluation, they're no longer eligible for merit that year. So most of them do it. Not that we have merit every year, but sometimes. We collect their transcripts at time of hire, particularly their highest degree, because that's the one that SACS needs. We introduce Interfolio, like I said, to brand new faculty members right after they're hired. We maintain documentation for adjuncts as well as our full-time faculty, and we do conduct periodic credential audits. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I think we've got a few minutes for questions. And I will make up answers if I don't know the answer to the question.